This is a movie I haven't seen yet, but I'm excited to see, The Men Who Stare at Goats. I actually received this once, and it was all busted up, and I had to return it to Amazon and get a replacement, so I still haven't seen it. But it says, you know, like it's reminiscent of the Coen brothers at their most unhinged. Well, that's exactly what I'd like to see. After watching the last movie that I reviewed, I think it was like A Normal Man or whatever, I don't know. That just, it was just so depressing and so bizarre and just very normal. Not the Coen brothers I was expecting to see. This is, you know, like if you like Big Lebowski, that kind of, you know, that's what I'm hoping for. You know what I mean? And so far, like everything I've seen the previews, looks excellent on this, and I hope it's like a cult hit like Big Lebowski, which is one of my favorite movies. So if you've seen this, you might let me know what you think of it, but as a whole, I don't really think I'll be completely let down. I really think that the previews have shown enough that you kind of get a good feel of what this is going to be, and I'm pretty excited to see it. This is a movie that nobody liked. I've seen a lot of bad press, and a lot of people that was critiquing this movie as, you know, is just kind of mindless wandering, maybe you might say. The box is an interesting story, but you have to put it in the context of when it is. It's set in the 70s, which was the only way that you could really kind of make this happen. This is a movie that's based off a script that was written, you know, and I think it might have even been written as a short story, but Richard Matheson was the one that had written it, and it ended up being a Twilight Zone episode way back, you know, when, not in the 50s and 60s, but it was in the 80s series. It was a Twilight Zone episode. And so if you've seen that, then you kind of know what to expect, and what they try to do is expand upon that so that you wouldn't know just that short ending that they gave you in the episode. They wanted to make it into something bigger, and I can understand that, because for how interesting this could be as a Twilight Zone episode, you know, 30 minutes in, it's very simplistic to try to turn into a movie. But I thought it was really pretty good. It's very weird. It's one of those movies that as soon as you finish it, you kind of want to watch it again, just because there's so much going on, and it all feels very uncomfortable. There's an uncomfort level in this movie that is very well paced, and I think some people, that's just not their cup of tea. They're going to hate it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But if you haven't seen this yet, give it a shot. And if you're a fan of like movies with a twist, you know, Richard Matheson was a master, and obviously this isn't his creation. This is something based off of that. But you have to respect it a little bit, because that's the most unlikely of Twilight Zone stuff to become a movie. But I'm glad they did. Now we're going to talk about some DVDs. I'll try to go through these pretty fast. I'm going to do the TVs first. I just have a handful of these TVs. The new South Park, 13th season. Obviously, this is the DVD, not the Blu-ray. I really like this series. I think it's smart. I think the humor is relative, and it's witty to turn things that are totally unrelated into something that makes sense, that hits you on a mental level. I think as long as Matt and Trey keep, you know, putting this ahead of everything else they're doing, and they have the desire to keep this going, I think this could go on as long as The Simpsons, assuming that The Simpsons ever quit. You know, The Simpsons may outlive us all. Who knows? But this is a good series, and if you get a chance, I think you should, you know, probably, if you like the other ones, you're going to like this too. It's just right there, you know, with what you expect from The Simpsons. This was an odd find of mine, and you might not be able to see it because of the lenticular cover, that little movement that you see right there. This is the Bizarre, the best of Bizarre, with John Biner. This is where like Super Dave Osborne came from, and you may not be familiar with any of this, but when I was a kid, this was a big show that used to come on. This and Benny Hill and the Three Stooges and everything would come on late at night around the same time. So I'm eager to see this. It's been at least probably 20 years since I've seen an episode of that. So I was very happy to find that on Amazon. And yeah, it's just called The Best of Bizarre Uncensored. This is another one that I was really happy to find. I found this on eBay, and this is, I think, an Australian exclusive. I couldn't find it in the UK, and I know that they don't have anything in the United States except for VHS. But this is Teen Wolf, the complete animated series. So if you're a fan of Teen Wolf, the movie, the original, or both, this is just kind of interesting. This is something I really wanted to see. I haven't watched any Teen Wolf cartoons since I was really young. So this just seemed cool. I got this for, I think, about $15, but then it cost me about another $15 in shipping. So about $30, but that's not bad considering this is the only place you can find it. And it was definitely the best price I could find was on eBay. This is one that I picked up that I just saw a handful of episodes last year and I really liked it, and this is The Unusuals. It has Amber Tamblyn in it, if you're familiar with her. She's probably the one that I recognize the most. She was in, she was in The Ring, and then she was also in, I think, the sequel to Grudge, just a few other things. She was on Joan of Arcadia. But this is an Amazon exclusive TV series. Didn't last, well, the DVD on TV. But this didn't last very long. I want to say that this was 10 episodes. I thought this was a pretty good show, but it didn't get much of a break. But like everybody else, I didn't really watch it. So I mean, what do I expect? They're not going to get a lot of good ratings if nobody's watching it. This is another TV series that I got that I heard good things about and have never seen it. I really just kind of got led to it, and this is Defying Gravity. Has the guy in it, I can't even think of his name, that was on Office Space. He's the main guy. He does quite a bit of stuff, Ron Livingston. I kind of like science fiction, especially that the science fiction that seems very possible, like just reaching out into space, but not stuck between here and the moon like, reality. But if you've seen any of this, you might let me know what you think of it. It's a little 4-disc set, comes in a little thin pack, but I got this off Amazon also. Now I'm going to show a couple of movies that I got recently that I haven't watched yet. This is The Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. I like the original Bad Lieutenant, and I heard this had nothing to do with really the first one. This shouldn't have even had the word Bad Lieutenant in it because it's a great standalone movie. Nothing against Bad Lieutenant, but I think this would have got more respect if people would have just thought to themselves, that's the latest, whatever movie, not that's a sequel to Bad Lieutenant, which a lot of people may know hasn't even heard of, But Harvey Keitel's in the original Bad Lieutenant. I think that's been remade also, into something else, or it was based on another earlier work that was maybe a foreign movie. I don't know. I mean, obviously, that's not a movie that I'm real keen on knowledge about, but I heard really good things about this. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really excited to watch it. So I can't say much on that. The next few movies I got are the movies that I've been dying to watch, and just have had them stuck in my mind. I haven't seen them in a long time. Witchboard, I used to watch this a lot when I was younger. I haven't seen this in years. It's just one of those movies that I finally found it. It's kind of hard to find. It's kind of in and out of print, and I don't know. Even used copies go pretty high, but it just came back, I guess, into print recently. But I found that. It's a pretty decent movie. It's got a few kind of like jump moments, but other than that, it's not anything too special. Phantoms, this is one of those movies that everybody talks about, and I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in like 10 years, so I want to go back and watch it. I mean, I'm sure as soon as I really see it, I'll be like, oh yeah, and I'll remember it. It won't be that big of a deal, but it gets talked about a lot, considering it's kind of just a normal movie. I don't really remember it being anything other than average. This is the director's cut of Frighteners, and Peter Jackson movie. I went and saw this at the movie theaters, and it's probably one of the last things that Michael J. Fox did as a feature film. And I kind of remembered liking this a lot at the movie theater, and then I watched it later, on video and didn't get as much out of it. But I'd kind of like to see it again, and I'd like to give the director's cut a chance. But Peter Jackson, he's gone on to do so many things since this that it's kind of nice for him to go back and kind of, put a little bit more effort into some of his older stuff.